This ain't no mac and cheese, but it is a Mac without the cheese. This is another model from Heavy Haul Replicas, and here is the outer shipping carton, and a small label identifies the model inside.
Let's weigh it up.
Pick it up and throw it on the weighbridge, and it comes in at just 15 ounces, and that is 425 grams. Do not use blades to open. So instead we use a very sharp finger, and that just does the trick and cuts the tape. With the outer carton open, we can then get out what is inside, and black is the colour. It is a Mack branded box, and aside from that the only other identifying mark is that small label. Let's open it up and see what's inside. And this model is a Mack Superliner. It's a truck from 1986, and it's in the colours of Damigella. The trays are taped together, so a bit of knife work is required, and if you get good at it, you can do it very quickly. But just make sure you don't cut any fingers off, or indeed any other appendage. With the lid off, we can see the model sitting in the tray, and it's wrapped in soft paper. From there it can be carefully lifted out. Also included is a plastic pointer and a bag of spare mirrors. Finally, there are a couple of pieces of plastic film to remove, and these are securing the model during shipping. Out of the box there's no assembly to do because it is complete out of the box.
Let's weigh it up again.
The model itself is not heavy, coming in at just under 7 ounces. Which turns out to be 190 grams. The driver's tipped the truck over so we can look underneath. And at the front the steering is detailed and there are nice soft mud flaps. Moving on, the tanks are nicely formed and you can see the underside of the gearbox. And there are more tanks and boxes in the middle of the chassis. There are also black hoses running from front to rear. The rear axles are formed well with leaf springs and differentials. And all of the tyres on the model are good quality. There are metal aerials on the door mirrors. And there's an array of lights and air horns. Particularly good is the Mack logo in the horns, and there's a solid visor above the windscreen, and you can see the windscreen glass is curved, and there are also windscreen wipers. This version of the Mack has a silver bulldog on top of the radiator, and the radiator grille itself is very high quality, with a convincing mesh. There's a nice big chrome bumper, and it has a realistic number plate from the real truck. There are also metal markers at each end with highlighted tips. The quality of the applied graphics is outstanding, and you can see that applies to the engine hood. The thin yellow pinstriping is perfectly applied, and you can see here how it goes around the wheel arch, and the wheel itself is nicely chromed with a highlighted hub. Detail inside the cab does not fall short with highlighted dials and also floor pedals. There is some excellent chrome work including the mirrors, the grab handles and also the exhaust, and very nice Damigella collection graphics on the cab door. The big fuel tank has got nice filler caps modelled, and there are also steps with etched surfaces. On the back of the cab the excellent graphics continues, and there's also a set of airlines. And these could be fixed to matching connectors in a suitable trailer. The wheel arches have a very nice chrome metal finish, and the rear wheels are similarly convincing, with just tyre branding missing. There are lights and a licence plate at the back, and the soft mud flaps have Mack branding. We are back underneath the Mack again, and the front wheels have notched steering, and the angle achieved is probably best described as moderate. The rear wheels spin nicely and they're fixed to common axles, and suspension is implemented front and rear. And on the flat we can see that it works very well. Let's get out onto the Cranes etc. interstate, and the Mack rolls well enough with all the wheels properly grounded. The steering allows a shallow curve to be followed. Access to the engine is really good because the whole of the hood opens forwards, and a highlight of the model is the detailed engine. And again you can see how good the radiator grille is because it's nicely see-through. The cab doors can be carefully opened if you want to, and you don't need to use the plastic pointer. And the doors do achieve a decent opening angle. Another feature implemented on the model is the air ride seats, and using the included pointer you can bounce them up and down. The fifth wheel on the model is fully functional. It moves forwards and backwards, and it's got a spring-loaded lever, so you can lock the kingpin of a trailer. With that said, let's move on and attach a couple of trailers, and the first we have is one from Diecast Masters, and it's in a black colour scheme to match the Mack. The kingpin is a bit too fat to fit into the fifth wheel, but for static posing you can achieve a decent look. We will try a second trailer, and this is a Sword Nelson ramp trailer, and again the kingpin is a bit too fat to fit into the fifth wheel. This is another high quality Mack replica from the Heavy Haul Replicas stable, and a particular high point is the high quality detailing and particularly the decoration. Only 100 models have been made in this production run, so it does represent something fairly unique. If you like the old timer Mack trucks, then this one looks great and is rated as excellent.